welcome back once again. My name is James Henderson with Baseman Studios, coming to you live, but from where else? The North Pole. That's right, folks, I am actually up here at the North Pole. Not North Pole, Alaska, but the North Pole, actually. It's where Santa Claus and all his elves, all his helpers, they're out there working way harder than I know what to do with. I've never seen a group of people so focused on one mission, and to send a bunch of toys to a bunch of good little girls and boys. It's incredible. Santa Claus was actually born over 200 years ago. He's a busy man right now, so he's not able to help sit down even for a moment with this interview. But I actually got invited to come up here to help judge a elves idol contest. You know, something equivalent to American Idol or the English Idol, UK Idol. But so they all got together and said, hey, we want to do it ourselves. And they asked me to come up here. It's phenomenal. The way they sing, the way they harmonize. The competition was tough, man. I've never judged anything in the world like it. But Mrs. Claus is also working hard. In fact, she's stepping in every once in a while. She's terrific at helping. She constantly, asks if I want a cup of coffee or hot cocoa. I mean, my crew is very well taken care of. So if you ever get asked to come up here, I would definitely jump on it. The elves are more than 300 years old. It's the weirdest thing, but a lot of these kids, well, I want to say kids, but they're full-grown, well-aged adults that look like kids, have been in our school systems, have been, just in our workforce. So, in that song that Santa Claus knows you're naughty or nice, technically that's not true. The elves, like one of the elves I actually recognized, she's in my niece's class. Wow, So yes, so I asked her how old she was. She's over 239 years old. She's been through some of the most horrific wars, and also she's been able to get educated by the most brilliant minds in today's times. So just talking to her is impeccable. Just the amount of knowledge, because she's not regurgitating this stuff from a history book. She's actually regurgitating it from personal experience. So it's very impressive. But she asked me not to use her name because, once again, she is in my niece's class and she doesn't look a day over 10 years old. So you never know. But all these elves that are spread through far and wide, well, they keep in constant contact with Santa Claus to say whether or not a child's been good or bad, and that's how he does it. And then around this time of year, Christmas break comes along. They all go home, and they keep up with syncs. I mean, even with the new technology today, well, they sort of use the technology of to where it doesn't look suspicious. But like she has an iPhone. But the elves have actually created an item for that phone to sync back up with their elf system to help them out. The elves don't use any type of popular programming objects like Oracle, Microsoft, Linux. They use their own stuff because they said everything else has been able to get hacked or damaged, or virus can sink in. So the elves have all been to school. They all been educated by some of the most brilliant computer science minds. For the elves that are working on the IT elf system, and so they have their own system. And so when I asked for a quick calculation of a simple algorithm that might have taken 400 years to calculate, they actually have a system that can do it in 29.2 seconds. Whoa. Okay, well, something like this, America and some of the technologies are definitely working up on. But when I actually got flown up here with the Alaska, I went to Nome, Alaska, and then the elves came pick me up in their own plane, and then so I had a hidden GPS system in my equipment. Well, of course, my guys and I don't want to get my equipment stolen, so we stick GPS systems in our cameras and our lights, just to make sure that all of our stuff is stuck with me, and just in case for insurance purposes, I can call the insurance, say, hey, listen, my stuff is at this location. We go pick it up, and they call the police, and yada yada yada. But while I'm up here, even though I've got all my equipment, none of my GPS systems work. It's awful. So how do I know the Santa Claus has a heart of a 29-year-old? They have a doctor here. They have actually a family of doctors. So one family, they constantly go to school. So each generation that goes by, keeps up with the doctor's heart, his blood pressure, everything about him. And when I was talking to the doctor, once again I was asked to keep his name private. The doctor says, his EKG readings and his heart is pretty much like of a healthy 29-year-old. And so but as far as, so it's one family, and they all become doctors, and they all come up here at least 3 to 4 times a year, either through vacation and also to help them take a break, and to check on all the elves and all the Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus and their children, and that really helps them out. Granted, some of the elves have actually been to school, become doctors, and they keep tabs on all the other elves that are up here, and all so. But that's pretty much it. Santa Claus is real, folks. It doesn't matter if you don't believe, because do believe. If you don't believe, it's no big deal to him. I mean, technically, there's so many girls and boys right now that are getting presents, and through the love and through the charity and through the sharing of everyone, it makes Christmas a very Merry Christmas. So thank you once again for this little break, and you have a great day, and Merry Christmas.